He got that killer instinct. He know what it takes to get it done.
4 minutes.
That's why it's easy training with him, because he trains so hard.
In terms of my training in my camp, I love combat. I love testing myself.
What's the word, Chris?
Did some cardio earlier.
No, Wednesday we got 12 rounds, 12 3 minutes. There we go. There we go. There we go. Make some combinations fast. Come on. Trust in your speed, son. Come on, dig into that soul, Chris. Come on. Show the fuckers that you want this partner. Show these fuckers that you see.
Inside the training camp, the energy is intense as Chris Eubank Jr. hones his craft under the experienced guidance of his father, the iconic Chris Eubank Sr. with the long-anticipated Benn rematch approaching. The duo is combining traditional toughness with modern training techniques. Eubank Sr.'s signature focus on discipline and mental strength is shaping Jr.'s approach, turning this camp into a powerful journey of legacy, growth, and redemption.
This is my first full camp in Dubai. I've actually, I've wanted to train out here more consistently for a long time. It's the perfect environment. The gyms are amazing, the nutrition, the food, the sun. As long as you don't get distracted with all the distractions of Dubai, I think it's an amazing place to kind of focus and hone your skills in the fight world.
No, no. Beautiful. Beautiful. Work the rope.
As the highly anticipated rematch between Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn draws closer, the intensity inside Eubank Jr.'s training camp is unmistakable. Their first encounter at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium back in April 2025 ended with Eubank Jr. securing a clear, unanimous decision after a tough, hard-fought 12-round battle. Now, with the second chapter fast approaching, the energy around the camp feels sharper, hungrier, and more personal than ever.
To this fight and find his range, but find his range he did. They just exchanged the rounds one by one. Eventually, Conor Benn looked like he was slowing down, but he found a second wind and managed to take it back to Chris Eubank Jr., particularly just with really aggressive punches. Chris Eubank Jr. working the body, Conor Benn trying to find that knockout punch. It was chaotic, a barrage from both fighters in those final few rounds, and so hard to call. On the fan scorecards, it was level, 114 to 114, and no one could separate these two. But you heard it there, Chris Eubank Jr. wins, and not only does that on unanimous decision, but does it to inflict Conor Benn.
In their first clash, Eubank Jr. outworked Benn with a total of 367 landed punches out of 912 thrown, while Benn connected with 215 of his 593 attempts, according to the CompuBox numbers. Even though Eubank Jr. was the older fighter and carried more physical wear, he managed to edge ahead through sheer output and persistence. But the aftermath wasn't without concern. The extreme weight cut left Eubank Jr. visibly drained. He came in 0.05 pounds off the limit, was fined, and later taken to the hospital for precautionary checks. Those issues cast a long shadow over the victory and sparked debate across the boxing world. Now, heading into the rematch, Eubank Jr. stands as the clear favorite, determined not just to win, but to close the chapter decisively. At the same time, his father, Chris Eubank Sr., has become a mix of support and warning. While rebuilding his relationship with his son, he's publicly questioned whether this rematch should be fought under the same demanding conditions that nearly pushed Eubank Jr. past his limits the first time.
Clause in. They fined him some £500,000 for coming in, 2 ounces over the weight. It was reported to me by Lawrence Lustig, who is a very famous photographer. Junior wasn't even sweating at the end of the fight. Dehydration. These rules are in place to save my son, to save the lives of fighters. Unfortunately, the reporters, the journalists are not doing their job. They're not holding them to account. Gareth Davis, do your job. Simon Jordan, you speak on boxing, do your job. You are not credible if you let these things happen. What you are is a jester. As I said after the fight, Conor Benn is an extraordinary fighter. Fighting at 156 or fighting a fighter at 160, he doesn't get back down to 147. And if he does, he's not the fighter he could have been. They are dangerous, they are reckless. If the Boxing Board of Control don't do what they're supposed to do, which is to block fights from happening which do not abide by the weights and the rules, you are baboons. I'm not a baboon, and I know this life. I've gone up to cruiserweight, fighting Carl Thompson. Watch that fight. Both of them, where you're watching one man who is almost twice the size of me. So it seems, I say this sparingly, seemingly killing me. And it looks like a fight because the smaller guy, me, has heart, and nothing is gonna stop me. No threat, nothing's gonna stop me. I'm going to put a picture up of my eye. It looked like my eye was pregnant, giving birth. That's these promoters pulling me into a fight that I need for the money. So I say, no, I'll do it. But the Boxing Board of Control is not supposed to allow that to happen. So now when I speak on it for my own son, people say, oh, well, you know, he's...
Inside Chris Eubank Jr.'s training camp, the atmosphere is focused and disciplined as he prepares for his rematch with Conor Benn. Over the past several weeks, Eubank Jr. and his team have been working to address the mistakes and vulnerabilities that showed up in their first meeting. He has openly acknowledged that his previous win came through a mix of grit, ring IQ, and sheer determination rather than pure physical dominance. This time, he aims to turn that experience into a clearer, more commanding performance, one that leaves no doubt about the outcome.
Involved and the benefits for him.
We call that the Xbox, 6 different stations. You got 3 coaches, you got 3 different obstacles to push you as far as your power shots, your speed, your slipping, your rhythm, your sprints, your endurance on throwing your power shots and stepping over. So we usually do that once a week to push the fighter, and then every week we go up.
Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up.
Keep pushing. Push. More. There you go.
There we go.
Come on, let's go.
Come on, kid. Here we go. Give it up, give it up, give it up. Go. Come on, keep it up, keep it up.
Eubank Jr. has set up camp in Dubai, distancing himself from outside distractions and throwing himself into demanding sparring sessions and conditioning work. He's made it clear that although his father, Chris Eubank Sr., will be in his corner on fight night for emotional support, the training itself remains firmly under his own direction. One of his main sparring partners revealed that Eubank Jr. often pushes through 4-minute rounds with only 30 seconds of rest. It's a brutal schedule designed not only to elevate his stamina, but to sharpen his decision-making and tactical discipline when fatigue sets in.
Full camp in Dubai. I've actually, I've wanted to train out here more consistently for a long time. It's the perfect environment. The gyms are amazing, the nutrition, the food, the sun. As long as you don't get distracted with all the distractions of Dubai, I think it's an amazing place to kind of...
Eubank Jr. has reunited with veteran coach Brian "Bomac" McIntyre, the same mastermind who helped guide Terence Crawford to undisputed glory. The move sends a clear message. Eubank Jr. isn't simply looking to repeat his first win over Benn. He intends to dominate the rematch. McIntyre has spoken confidently about the work being done behind the scenes, saying Eubank Jr. already understands what it takes to beat Benn. He praised Jr.'s attitude throughout camp, highlighting his intensity, discipline, and hunger for a more decisive outcome. According to McIntyre, this camp is different from the previous one. There's complete focus, full commitment, and no half measures.
To the next fighter.
Did you get to make it back over for the victory parade?
Yes,
or
definitely we had to come back for the parade. That was beautiful what the city did for Bud.
How was that? Yeah, because we've even seen other fights before where there's been a great turnout, but this looked like a whole new level, and so right, it should have been.
I can imagine probably close to 1 million people there, I would think. Man, it was beautiful. It was beautiful.
Crawford's obviously enjoying some well-deserved time off, but has he spoken to you any more about what kind of next steps would be for him, what he wants?
No, not yet. We talked a little bit yesterday, but we didn't discuss anything about boxing. So we're just making sure, I was checking with him, making sure the gym was going good, the kids was getting a good workout, and we're putting on another show for our up-and-coming fighters. So, you know, he's working on that, and while I'm working with Chris.
Working with Chris, exactly. You are back working with Chris Eubank Jr. You're with him for the rematch against Liam Smith. How did it come about, you coming back into camp with him for this one?
Well, while we was finishing up with Crawford, Chris's guys, they hit me up maybe a month out and asked me would I be, you know, interested. I told them, of course, right away, because, you know, I felt like that me and Chris got a good repertoire together, we got a good relationship. And
the first meeting between Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn carried far more weight than a typical modern rivalry. It revived the history of their famous fathers, whose clashes in the early 1990s helped define an entire era of British boxing. Chris Eubank Sr. and Nigel Benn remain legendary figures, remembered for their explosive styles and bitter competitive fire. Their first showdown in November 1990 was a high-stakes war. Eubank Sr., the unbeaten technician, and Benn, the relentless knockout artist. The fight delivered on every expectation, with Eubank surviving Benn's early onslaught and stopping him in the 9th round to claim the WBO middleweight title. Years later, the son stepped into the spotlight, renewing a rivalry that had never truly faded. Their previous bout even drew comparisons to the 2008 dream match between Manny Pacquiao and Oscar de la Hoya. In that fight, Pacquiao jumped 2 divisions to face the much larger de la Hoya and overwhelmed him with speed and accuracy until the corner stopped the contest before the 9th round. In a similar fashion, Conor Benn, naturally a welterweight, moved up to challenge the bigger, more seasoned middleweight Chris Eubank Jr., and despite the size gap and the experience difference, Benn delivered a spirited performance that showcased his durability, punching power, and refusal to back down.
On Conor Benn, and here's why. I believe we've seen this type of fight before. The similarities are unreal. 2008. A 29-year-old Manny Pacquiao faced a 35-year-old Oscar de la Hoya. Oscar de la Hoya was the favorite in that fight against Manny Pacquiao because not only was Oscar de la Hoya an experienced and fantastic fighter, he was just naturally the bigger man, and they thought Manny Pacquiao was insane. Chris Eubank Jr., as the bigger man and skilled fighter, people are seeing him as the favorite. And me too, I am predicting a Chris Eubank Jr. win. But where I'm going to put my money is going to be on Conor Benn because of the history, the similarities of what we saw in 2008 with Manny Pacquiao and Oscar de la Hoya. No, Conor Benn is no Manny Pacquiao.
Fraser Clark weighed in on the dramatic encounter between Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn, stating that the result was fair and that the better man on the night earned the victory. He praised the courage, discipline, and determination both fighters showed, noting that bouts of this caliber are vital for British boxing. Clark highlighted how both athletes gained not only pride but deep respect from fans and fellow professionals for their efforts inside the ring. Despite his earlier concerns about the rematch, Chris Eubank Sr. made an unexpected appearance midway through the undercard. His arrival sent a wave of excitement through the 65,000-strong crowd, who erupted into cheers as he took his seat to support his son. Nigel Benn, father of Conor Benn, was also in attendance and welcomed Eubank Sr.'s presence, calling it a positive and unifying moment for both families.
You turned up to support your son. What a night.
Well, you know, I was always going to be here for my son, irrespective of what you thought. I mean, it's a show. So suspense is part of the game. Now, the performance, championship rounds, standing toe-to-toe, the credit I'm going to give to Conor. I told you he was a superior fighter, but he shouldn't be fighting at 160 or 156. He's a 147 fighter. What couldn't he do around the world? He's been destroyed by the people who are handling him, and they have to be brought to account. Do your job. Do your job. Do your job.
It's great.
Chris Eubank Sr. has issued a stern warning. claiming that his son, Chris Eubank Jr., was caught in a deal orchestrated by promoters who prioritized profit over the fighter's health and career. According to Eubank Sr., the contract forced his son to make a grueling 160 pounds weight limit while imposing strict rehydration restrictions, leaving his body dangerously depleted on fight night. He insists these conditions were never about protecting Eubank Jr.'s long-term well-being, but rather about creating a dramatic spectacle that would maximize ticket sales and streaming revenue. 1-0. The weight difference between Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn played a crucial role in their April 26, 2025 clash at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Eubank Jr., a natural middleweight and former super middleweight, typically fights between 160 and 168 pounds, while Benn, a career welterweight, usually competes at 147 pounds for this matchup. Benn moved up 2 divisions to meet Eubank Jr. at the middleweight range, forcing both fighters to make adjustments. Eubank Jr. had to trim down from his usual fighting weight, a process that could sap strength and endurance, while Benn needed to bulk up without sacrificing speed or power, an equally daunting challenge. The negotiated catch weight of 156 pounds, just shy of the junior middleweight limit, represented a carefully balanced compromise, though it carried inherent risks for both men.
At his proper weight, fighting a man of his size. Let me tell you what Junior did. He took away all the sweeties from everyone. They fined him, they blocked him on rehydration, they tricked him on weight. Once you're bringing him down to 160, he's 35 years old. He's a man, he's a big man. He'll do it because he's a warrior, but he shouldn't do it. But he's not gonna listen to anyone. If he's not gonna listen to me, he's not gonna listen to anybody else. So the rematch is, Junior, you have everything, you're rich. You know, those promoters, they hate you because they can never get close to anything that you do. The analogy I will use, they're looking at you like you're a rocket, you've taken off, all the fuel burners and tanks have fallen back to Earth, and you are now in space. They don't have the oxygen to be in the world you live in. They would do anything to be able to live.